What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Dialed In. Today, we finally have a woman getting on the podcast. So I'll have her introduce herself. We'll dive into it. And in the future, we're going to have influencers, bodybuilders, nutritionists, anybody I can get in contact with. They're going to be on here. But feel free to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Julie. I've been in the fitness industry for almost 10 years, and I'm a fully online remote trainer now.
Nice. Okay. Well, first off, did you ever compete? Do you ever plan to compete anything in like that side of the fitness industry?
Um, Honestly, it was in my mind. I actually started a prep, I would say, right before COVID.
Mm.
And during COVID, obviously, I lost access to the gym. I actually gained like 10, 15 pounds. And I think it was like kind of a wake up call that competing wasn't for me because I started developing some type of a unhealthy relationship with food, with my body overall, and I didn't think it was for me anymore. And so maybe would I compete in the future? Maybe, but right now I'm loving the healthier, more balanced lifestyle.
Understood. Okay. I guess just one specific question, but what got you into lifting specifically? Like, I know obviously you've been here forever, you've been working out forever, but did you go from like soccer to bodybuilding or like from cross country to fitness? Or like, were you just always working out your whole life?
No, not at all. And actually, I it was kind of like a wake up call. So one day I walked in the gym just because I was meeting some friends and I saw this girl lifting heavy. She was like doing barbell squats, like 45-pound plates on each side. She was doing push-ups, pull-ups, and she looked so like confident, sexy, strong, and still feminine. And I remember when I saw that, I was like, this is what I want to look like. I in the
Nice.
past I always thought lifting heavy meant looking masculine, so I never even thought about going to the gym. But then when I saw that, it really like kind of like woke me up and it made me want to start lifting. And yeah, that's what I am doing right now.
So I want to follow up for a question on this, or just I guess go back and forth on it. But what would you say to the female demographic or just women in general that they're scared to death to work out because they think they're going to be a dude? You know, they think they're going to get so jacked and so buff or masculine so quickly. And I try to tell women like that's like there's guys doing anything and everything, steroids, whatever it may be, to try and get buff. So like for you to think you're going to get buff overnight, I don't think that's going to happen. But any insight as a girl yourself?
I honestly wish it was much easier for us to build and maintain muscle. I've been lifting for almost 10 years now, and I'm still trying to look more buff. I'm natural. I lift pretty heavy. I do, normal workouts, nothing crazy. And it's very tough for us to build a muscle, maintain them. It's actually much harder for us to do. So don't be afraid of lifting heavy because that's really the only way to really transform your body.
Yeah, I agree with that. And following up to that, do you think that, I guess, just what has worked good for you? Are you more of like a machine girl, free weights, barbells? What is this something that you like? Because I mean, I'd say for a lot of fitness beginners, they think that they got to go, for women at least, they have to go hit glutes like 4 days a week. And then like they're scared to train their upper body the same way that for men, I've had guys who've never done a hip thrust their entire life, but they want to do classic physique or bodybuilding. So what would you say the flip side of that would be for women? Would you say that women are just kind of scared to train their upper body? They just train glutes a lot, anything like that, or any tips about training for that?
Yeah, for sure. A lot more focus on legs and less focus on upper body, just because they think that training more upper will get them again bulky. Um, so is really having, a overall strength of the entire body, because even if you have like a stronger back, stronger arms, you're able to lift heavier for your lower body. So having a
Yep.
stronger upper will help you grow your lower. That's why it's important to do both, for aesthetic reasons too. It creates this hourglass shape when you have a more, defined back. And in terms of what I prefer, I honestly like to mix it all because personally I do get bored really quickly. So I
Mm.
like to do barbells, machine, free weights, in rotation like this. It never feels like I'm doing the same. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about branching out to, I know you're into more like looking good. Do you ever think about branching out to, let's say, powerlifting, CrossFit? What's the other one that's popular right now? Hybrid training. Have you ever thought about doing any of those? Or are you pretty much just dead set on like, I want to look good and I want to train more like a bodybuilder per se?
I've thought about it. And some point, I did a little bit of CrossFit
Mhm.
myself. I liked it a lot. Did definitely realize that it wasn't something for me long term, and it also didn't create the physique that I was looking for. Um, Powerlifting, no, I've never really cared of being strong. I just scared of looking and feeling my best. Hybrid, I kind of like thinking about it lately, but I feel like for the demographic that I'm targeting, the type of client that I'm looking for and working with, the most simplest weight training workouts are the most efficient to get them where they want to go, or where they want to be. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. No, that makes complete sense. Let's start diving into a couple topics out for you, a couple questions for you. So, I know that you consider yourself a coach, or you are a coach. Do you also consider yourself like a fitness influencer? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say for
Okay.
sure.
So, main topic, and I know some people will get confused in this and what I've seen too, but what do you think the major differences are between like a female fitness influencer and like a male fitness influencer? So I have a couple follow-up questions, but if you had to just describe anything you think would be
Mm.
different just right off the bat from your point of view, anything at all.
Think men are judged almost entirely on strength and knowledge.
Mhm.
Women are judged more on appearance first, no matter the value they bring. So if
Yep.
you don't fit this mold of being extra fit, maybe even extra pretty, it's much more difficult for you to grow on social, especially grow a business. So men can really grow by educating, and women have to fight, through a certain look, if that makes any sense.
Of course. So would you say that women have to always have like this sense of sex appeal, or like their bodies always has to be looking good? And as terrible as it sounds, but they could just not be smart or not be educational, but like they look so good that they could build a big following from that. Is that safe to say, or something you've
Absolutely.
seen?
Oh, for sure. All the time. All the
Okay.
time. There's so many women that I've seen that look amazing, post a lot of like aesthetic type content, more vibes type content, and
Mhm.
they have very successful business just because they are, I guess, inspiring. But when I see the type of, um, education they post, you can tell that they really don't know much about fitness and nutrition. And instead of someone that might not be having that perfect look, that perfect vibe, but knows so much more about the human body. You see what I mean?
Yeah, of course. So leading into that too, and I guess there's like a part two of this, but I guess let's just talk about you specifically. Cause I mean, I've followed you forever, and like you don't post that type of content. Like you might show off your body or something, but it's not like every video is just like, look at my butt cheeks. That's not your content. Right. So I guess I mean, it's no different than like guys try to show off their arms or their back. It's like they make that the
Yes.
main thing. But I guess just what has stopped you from not wanting to post a bunch of thirst traps or just out of pocket content, even when you know deep down that that would get you a shit ton of followers or like get you the engagement that would probably help you grow?
Well, I kind of like, tiptoe in that field for a little bit. I
Of
grew
course.
really fast. I was posting a lot more aesthetic vibe type content. Look at my body. Look how fit I am. Look how pretty my life is. Yes, I did get a lot of followers really quickly, but I still had an extremely hard time selling clients because at
Mm.
the time, what I generally thought was, that's what would attract women. That's what would inspire women. Look at my life. I look so good. But I realized with time that not at all. They actually bring the wrong type of engagement from people that just want to get inspired, and not those people that actually are looking for solutions to their problems.
Yeah. So what I've seen, and I've talked to my male and female clients. We joke about it sometimes, but some of my guy clients, they don't do a lot of educational stuff. It's more just like male thirst traps. They'll have like this
Mm.
massive gay following. You know, you would think it'd be a lot of like straight women, but like they just don't have a
No.
whole lot of women followers. They have some, but like they
Yeah,
have a lot of gay male followers, and like
yeah.
they pretty much just answer from the opposite way. They're like, man, like I'm trying to grow my content, but like it's just a bunch of men hitting on me. I was like, well, bro, like you're just squatting in leggings. That's not super educational, right? Like I get what you're doing. I get the one out of the million followers, but like you can't get mad that that's the type of clientele you're getting with like that's the way you market it. And then some of my women friends or like my female fitness influencer friends, they'll do the same thing and they'll get super thirsty men like commenting a bunch of stuff. And I remember there was one specifically, I think she had about 350,000 on Instagram, really, really big following. Great content, by the way. Like content's like half thirst trap, half educational. And her comments are just flooded with just thirsty ass dudes. And I was like, do you make pretty good sales in your coaching or whatever you offer? She's like, no, I have horrible sales. She just didn't have a good turnaround because her followers really weren't there for education. She was just very attractive and they were just like lusting over her. And I was like, man, you got to switch it up. So she switched it up and she started losing the thirsty comments, but she started getting more clients. So it was a win-win. So I guess, like you said, you have to tiptoe in between those two. It can be tricky too, though.
And that's what happened with me this year. So for the last few years, I've been on Instagram for almost 6 years, I believe, at this point. Maybe no, I've been on Instagram for almost 9 years. And I was always, like I said, posting, some occasional thirst traps, some vibes, some aesthetic. And yes, I got a lot of followers really quickly, but like you said, I was barely selling my coaching because that's really all I wanted to sell, coaching for women. And this year I decided to completely switch it up just because few things. Obviously, I wasn't selling, and also I wanted to switch it up. I just wanted to post things that felt right to me at this stage of my life. So I went full educational, and I lost a lot of followers. I went from 80,000 on Instagram to almost 50,000.
Oh, wow.
But then because of my educational, it felt more right. It was more actually bringing the right type of followers and actually very helpful for my client that I grew back up to. I think I'm at 130 almost now.
Nice. Congrats.
And I was stuck at 80,000 for years at this point, so yeah, makes a difference.
Yeah. I've talked about this. I mean, I've done the same content for like 8 years now. I just don't switch. I'm just the monotone guy with a floating head in the screen. That's just what I do. But it works really good for me. Cause sometimes people are like, oh, why don't you post this style? I'm like, I have one of the biggest bodybuilding teams on all of social media. Like, I think it would probably be weird if I did something super different. I mean, maybe if like I mentioned I'm going to try something different, but if I just like completely switched up, my followers might be like, why am I following if I don't like this?
Yeah.
So that's my logic.
I do believe in some point like everybody in social media need to reinvent themselves in some point.
Of course.
But I do believe it only needs to happen when you see your content not going anywhere anymore. And that's what I had for many years. I was trying so many different styles, in a life, get ready with me, in a day in my life, what I eat in a day, all these, nothing worked. I did the podcast style content for me. It didn't work. I tried so many things. And when I started talking about educational nutrition with recipes and, story type content, that really worked for me. So now I'm like trying to stick with that. And I'm trying to not change anymore.
Yeah, because I mean, just think about it like this. And again, this isn't just a woman thing. I'm just using an example because you're a girl. But like, imagine you had no educational content. Like you just kept posting thirst traps. Like, your body looks great. Your physique looks great. But I'm sure you get a bunch of crazy DMs from men, women, whatever it is. But not one of them's like, can I work with you as a coach? They'd be like, yo, let me fly you out or something. It's not the type of content you're going to be looking for.
I hear that happen a lot, but I swear I've never had that. I didn't have like
Really?
I've never had like a DM flooded of dudes, people invited me on a different country. Like I've never had that. I don't know if it's the vibe I was giving that wasn't inviting those type of messages, but I've truly never had it, which I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Wow. I figured it'd be a couple, I mean, not like 100, like you don't have the link in your bio type of girl. So like, it's a little bit different, different personality, but okay. Even I get a couple thirsty people every once in a while, but I guess I never had a girl guy off to fly me out somewhere.
But I've never had like, I'm flying you out here to come see me. I've never had those. Thank God. I'm blocked.
That'd be a good conversation down the line. Now I want to have like a panel of women, just different types of women we could discuss. Like, what is the crazy thing people say to you?
True.
All right. I guess just kind of finishing up on this aspect, but what would you say to let's just assume a lot of fitness influencers are like 18 to 23, right? Younger. I guess what would you say to a younger female fitness influencer or aspiring fitness influencer, bodybuilder about getting into content, would you say maybe it's a good idea to show some skin and be educational so you build that initial following and like get all the clicks? Or would you say that it's whatever the hell they want to do and, just deal with the consequence of whatever they choose to post, or anything at all, any insight?
Honestly, I realize if it feels right to you, whatever content you're making, if it's just like talking on the phone very casually or setting up a whole studio in your house and
Yep.
doing something very like scripted, you just want to do videos like have your mic at the gym and give tips as you are working out, whatever feels right to you, as long as you can stick to it and actually speak to the people that you want to talk to, I think that's the best way to go. Because when you try to fit a mold or do a trend just because it's a trend, then it doesn't feel authentic anymore. And I think like people
Agreed.
really can see that on social and they don't engage.
Cool. No, that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to hear about it. Do you think that the this is a thing, it's kind of related, kind of not related, but maybe I could speak for you in general, but have you noticed the type of sponsorships or endorsements that women get in the fitness industry are different than those of like what men get? Or have you noticed it's pretty much the same thing? Has there been anything that's like super niche, like just super specific to women that maybe like a guy doesn't have that sponsorship? I'm not talking about like Gymshark, where of course men and women could have Gymshark, but have you noticed anything where it's like, I benefit from this for being a woman in the fitness industry, or anything like that? Anything at all?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
Yeah, as I asked that question, I was like,
Have
damn, I
you?
don't know if I don't know if I have any.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess maybe like skinny teas, like, like things that women believe that's going to be the solution to their problems.
Mhm.
But, as a real coach, those are not good, even though maybe those companies are going to pay you a lot of money.
Yep.
I truly do not want to promote something that I don't trust and believe in and have tried myself and showed results from it. So yeah, no, that will never be me.
Okay, I have one other question. This is kind of, it's getting into the next couple topics about social media and whatnot, but like, what are your thoughts on, let's say a girl gets a BBL or gets some body work done, and the
Oh
first
my
thing they
God.
do is like drop a glute ebook or like hit me up for coaching or anything like that. You don't have to be too savage, but just curious, like from a girl's standpoint, when you see that and you're
Yeah,
like, you didn't work for that. How are you going to teach another girl how to achieve that if like you didn't do it? So any insight on that? The guys do it too, but I see it a
it's
lot
so
for women and
sad.
glutes for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so sad. And for us coaches that know how the body should look, perform, and all of that, we see it how much of a lie this is.
Yep.
And we want to say something, but whatever. And then for a client or someone that actually wants to achieve a certain look, they're actually going to believe, invest some money, a lot of time, and then get frustrated and think, oh, maybe this fitness life isn't for me because I cannot look like her. And then down the line, maybe they reveal, oh, by the way, I got a BBL a few years ago. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So I just hope I kind of wish people were a little bit more transparent to that because it's very common. And yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, I figured you were going to answer it like that. I was going to be a little bit more savage and just say, like, I just don't think it's fair. Like
Oh no, it's
I
not
know,
fair
I
at
know one
all.
guy, and I think this is the most insane one I've ever heard. He got calf transplants. So like he's just always wanted to be calf, so he got
Oh,
calf transplants. And this
I've
dude
seen
drops
that.
a how to grow your calf ebook, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way in hell you did that. I mean, yeah, it was like a $5 book, and he made some money on it. But like, I just looked at him like, there's no way that like that's ethical, you know?
Yeah.
So I
Or
guess
like
I just look at
crazy
it like
weight
that.
loss from Ozempic, things
Yep.
like that. Like
Yes.
I lost so much weight, but I took Ozempic, but I'm not gonna say it, and I'm gonna still sell you a weight loss program, It's yeah,
Yes. No
it's
credentials,
not
no
good.
real life experience. Just I took this drug or I took the surgery and like come work with me. But
Exactly.
as you probably know, I mean you've always had a pretty good amount of clients. I've always had a pretty good amount of clients. If you're a good coach, like you're gonna get repeated clients or they're gonna get referrals. You're gonna get that.
Yeah.
So you have these other people that they give you like a really shit service. They're not going to have anybody go to them. If you give them bad service, are they going to refer their mom, sister, cousin? No, nobody at all. So I guess it's kind of what separates like a really bad coach versus a good coach of those referrals. But
Yeah, and someone that
okay.
actually has, some a true passion of helping people and not just take advantage of them because it's easy to make money on social, especially these days with all these editing software where you can make your
Oh
body
yeah.
look a certain way and AI and all of that stuff. I can have an 8-pack tomorrow if I wanted to, and then sell a 8-pack
Yeah.
book. You see what I mean? But it's like I wouldn't feel right to do that to people. So yeah,
That's
different
because you
world.
have morals. Most people don't have morals when it comes to making money. But
We
again,
have
yeah.
morals. Hmm.
Okay, leading to the next aspect here. Let's see here. No, I don't want to talk about that yet. I don't want to talk about that yet. Yeah, I mean, since we're already on the topic of being controversial, we'll dive into the one topic I told you I wanted to ask you about.
No, no,
But
it's
long
coming.
story short, but how do you feel? And again, you don't have to be brutally honest. I'll be brutally honest. But how do you
Please.
feel about women that choose to do like the OnlyFans route, but then they connect it to fitness? So this could be any aspect. I have a couple examples I want to give, but what I've seen as of like right now is like, it's cool. They could have OnlyFans. That's their life. I have no issue with that context, but I'll see them like post crazy thirst traps, like rubbing their cheeks on a machine and like making it sweaty and like filming. And I'm like, bro,
Oh God.
why is this the content room now? Like, I just want to go to the gym. I don't want to see someone naked. But any
Yeah.
insight from that standpoint? And I guess maybe why do women feel the need to go that route once they kind of start getting some clout from being a fitness influencer? But any topic is fine. Anything you want to dive into?
I'm like, get that money, girl. Don't hate the player, hate the game. It
Yep.
works. It brings money. And I
Yep.
think everyone has the right to do whatever feels right to them. I generally love and respect women that feels, um, confident enough to do those things and posting it and making money and just playing the game as it is now. It's amazing. Uh, I know for sure if I did the same thing, I would probably make more money than I am now. But never felt right for me to do. I'm
Yep.
very much passionate about helping women and inspiring them. So I'm really focused on building a business that empowers women long term instead of just,
Short-term
posting.
gratification.
Exactly. And then attracting the wrong audience that I don't want.
Do you think, I know we're like 28 plus years old, but do you think that it's like the idea of fast money? I know like how we are now versus what we were like 10 years ago. Like our mentality is definitely different, but do you think it's just they're not thinking long term about like, I don't want my future kids or future husband, future wife, whatever it may be, to see this content? Oh crap, they don't think that far ahead. Do you think it's just they see some men and women making 20, 30, 40K a month? They're like, I could do that too. And then they realize like, oh crap, like my pastor saw this, or like my dad saw this, just something, right? Like people just don't think long term. But is that just
Yeah.
it? You think they're doing it for the money?
I think, some think about that and don't care, and some are not thinking about that and they will realize later, why did I do this to myself? Or like, why did I post this? And yeah, it's definitely something. Of course, it's fast money. It's very, impressive what those young girls and young guys can make on a
Oh
monthly
yeah.
basis. I mean, they can transform their entire life in just a few years of that type of work. And good for them. It's amazing. Again, it's very impressive. And yeah, it's um it's
All right.
hard.
So leading into that, so I want to bash the guys too, because I
Okay.
always see people talking shit about the girls. So I'm going to flip it now. It's like
Yeah,
you'll
why
see
is
people
that?
you'll see people talking shit about the girls, and I'm like, bro, I've never spent money on porn. I'm going to be honest, not a dollar. You'd have to pay me at this point,
I
but
mean, you
we're,
don't need to, like, honestly.
it's also free. But I mean, in general, it's like when I've talked to men, I know men that purchase it, and I've asked them like, bro, it's just she made it for me. It's like, you need to go outside and touch some grass, bro. But it's like people talk shit to the women, and like whether it's fitness content or OF content, it's like, yeah, like they're showing off their body, but you're the one who just sent her a check for $700. So like, which one do you guys need to be judged more? That's my only just insight. They could talk all the shit they want about the men and women that do it, which there are some long-term consequences. It's a different topic, but you're the one paying her the money in the first place. It's a supply and demand at the end of the day.
Yeah. They pay because it's her and not, it's someone they've been watching on social for a while that they somewhat feel a connection to.
Yep.
So they pay because it's her and yeah, it's again, the girls are playing the game and the men are the players.
We love it. So, I think I'm gonna drop my only pans at some point. I know people love to see me cook. I
Yo,
don't know how to
that'd be
cook.
great. Like especially dry, overcooked chicken. I think that
Yes.
will be perfect
So
for you.
I had one last question on this topic, and we can move on with the OF content. But I guess just were you personally tempted at any point to do it? And I'm not talking about like being like a full blown P star. I'm talking about just like how they have a little bit more risky content on there. Were you ever tempted to go that route, especially maybe when your coaching clients were going down, like you just weren't making the money that you were making now? Did you ever feel like, I really want to dabble in this? Or were you always like, no, absolutely not. There's not a chance in hell. Like, were you ever in the middle, or what would you say?
I mean, I've thought about it, obviously, and I have, girlfriends that are doing it, and they talk to me about their experience, and it sounds great. But then at the same time, like, I genuinely don't want anything like that online, and I don't want to 20 years from now see those photos or those videos and be like, why
Yep.
did I do this? Like
Yeah.
that's never be me. So I've thought about it because I know it's like it's out there, but I'm like, yeah, no, I can't do that to myself.
Yeah, my ego couldn't take it.
No.
I'm way too protective of significant others to do that. But
My parents
last
are on social too, so I don't want them to like end up seeing something.
yes, this is just one example, and this isn't just me guys saying this. This is like something I talk to a bunch of wealthy dudes all the time, right? But like some guys are just very. One of the biggest fear getting extorted. That's a whole different thing. But like another big fear is like wifing someone that everybody like can see them naked. I'm going to be pretty blunt about that. But I have one guy out here, and this actually happened to me not too long ago. But I was talking to a girl. She was really great. She seemed cool. I was like, I wonder what happens if I type her name on Reddit. What came up?
Oh,
All her
no.
OF contests like block.
What did you
So
see?
again, from a male standpoint, talking to women like this, it's
Yeah.
like there's just certain things that like we just don't agree with. I know guys that date OnlyFans girls. They love it. They love having guys fantasize over their girlfriend. That is not me, but there are guys that
Yeah.
like that, and vice
Of
versa. But
course.
that was my
Have you
finishing note, though.
have you ever typed my name on Reddit?
Do I need to, or should I? Or
I was like, wait, did you?
I don't think so. I don't think
You
so.
will find nothing.
There might have been a time I did. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, either on X or Reddit, just type in the full name, and
Oh my God.
woo, you might find something you weren't looking for. I'll put it that way.
No.
All right. So getting into a non-OF content question
Thank
topic.
God.
All right. So if you were going to compete, by the way, at some point, I know you may not, but what division do you feel like you have the most passion for? Is there a particular division that you just like watching? Anything at all?
I'm a petite, skinny mini type of girl. I get skinny really fast. I don't have a lot of muscle mass, so I honestly feel like the best division for me, if I ever decide to compete, would probably be bikini. But now I think there is a new division that just came out. No, that's a little.
It's fit body, bikini, figure,
Ooh.
wellness, open. Yeah. So it's I think it's called fit body is the proper name, but don't
So
quote me on
maybe I
that.
would do fit body or bikini, depending on the look. But yeah, something really small and feminine and not too muscular, because I don't really think my body can get that muscular unless I do use some, steroid. And we're
Is
not
that
doing
something
that
you would
here.
ever do? Not from a
Competition?
competing standpoint, just even if you didn't compete, are you ever interested in like the steroid, peptide, fat burner, anything at all? Have you used anything? I don't know if
I've
they're open about
used
that, but
I've used peptides for about 3 months last year.
nice.
I think it's called Sermorelin,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Sarah Morelli, yeah.
And yeah, and honestly, some days I felt great on it, like more energy. I was sleeping better, a little bit stronger at the gym. Some days I felt extremely exhausted, couldn't sleep, and it just didn't work for me. And I didn't see any drastic results. I didn't feel like transform, like it was, so I kind of stopped. And then I don't like needles, so I'm like, this
feel
is not
that.
for me. So since then, no, I transformed my entire body with an occasional pre-workout, a lot of meal prepping and bodybuilding style dieting, and a lot of patience and a lot of suffering at the gym. That's how I transform myself.
No, seems like it's working. Now,
Yes.
follow up to that though. So outside of the needle aspect, that's a very valid reason. But do you ever feel tempted, especially with like how I will definitely say women get judged much harder on social media to look good than men do. And maybe on bodybuilding stage, it's different, but like just general population, guys will judge the hell out of women. That is not it's not up for debate. So did you ever feel pressure? Do you feel pressure to be like, I just don't feel like I'm as full. I don't feel like I'm building muscle in my legs, the glutes. Do you ever feel like, I want to maybe run this cycle? I maybe want to run more peptides or anything like that? Or are you more so scared of the side effects? Or what would be a reasoning as to why you don't want to do it, if that makes sense? Anything at all?
I've been curious for sure because it's so common these days and it's so easy to have access to.
Definitely.
But every time, I look into it, maybe not the peptide. I still have to get more familiar with the peptide, but the rest, I get reminded of the side effect when it comes to the woman's body, and it
Yep.
makes me change my mind really quickly. My number one goal is, again, stay feminine, want to feel good, stay healthy, be the right example for my clients, not lying to my clients that I'm not taking anything. So honestly, not really. But of course, I've done my research. It's so common.
So would you say, again, this is almost back to like the OF content type question, but it's like, do you think it's just for them, that's the fast money getting into this one? Do you feel like it's the fast results? And I know how men think. Men are just willing to do anything and everything to get buff quick, but I don't know if women have that same mentality. Again, I'm not a girl, so I don't know, but in our industry, do you feel like that same pressure is there? They feel like they have to get buff quick and get that dark sport sponsorship or Young LA sponsorship or whatever it is for women. But do you feel like that's something you see now in a younger demographic?
Yes, I think so. Because when I see the women in their 20s looking extremely lean, extremely jacked, very quickly, um, it looks odd to me.
Yep.
Not saying that everybody is doing it. Obviously, some people have really good genetic. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to hear that most of the fitness influencers, the ones in their 20s, even maybe 30s, they're extremely lean all year long, very big, especially women. I wouldn't be surprised to hear that they are doing more than just peptides. You see what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So just speaking out from like a coaching standpoint, like just a male standpoint. So I've coached enhanced women. I've dated enhanced women. Both of them are scary depending on how you're looking at it. But for the
The
dating
side
aspect,
effects.
some of them get very aggressive. Like
Oh God.
most not that kind of aggressive, but like a
I
bad
don't
aggressive.
need that to be aggressive,
But
believe me.
like whatever your personality is, like I consider myself not too much of a dickhead. I think I'm relatively nice. But like
Mhm.
when I get enhanced, I get very ego driven, or like my personality just gets a little bit more rough to deal with. Now, for women, sometimes women are just very nice and jolly, like they're the very nice emotional one in the relationship. So when you talk to a girl that's like, raw, she's all beast mode, it's very intimidating, But
Mhm.
that's one side effect I've seen. The other ones is their voice gets a little bit more like raspy, almost like you
You
have a flu
cannot
or a
do that.
cold. That does happen. More body hair, whether it's face, forearms, legs, whatever. And then we got the final result, the final big dog. It's where they have the magic bean, where it looks like a
No.
thumbs up pointing at you. I'm not rocking with that. I know girls joke and
That's
they're
where you
like,
draw the line.
yes, when when I see a thumbs up, I'm done. No. Um, but
That's
that's just
hilarious.
every guy's different. Some guys love that
Um,
shit. Some girls love it. I've had some of my female friends who are enhanced be like, well, guys can find it easier. I'm like, okay,
oh, interesting.
good to know, good to know. But I guess that's
I'm
just it.
amazed by how much I love to see a woman like step on stage and looks jacked, like
Oh yeah,
huge. Because I know what it takes. Yes, obviously, steroid makes a huge difference
of
and
course.
help, but it takes so much time, dedication, patience. Uh, Go to the gym 2, 3 times a day sometimes. Eat 7 meals a day for years and years and years to look like that. So even though yes, the steroid helps a lot, you still cannot achieve that look until you have that, dedication, discipline. So I love it. I think it's so cool. But again, like, you know, the side effects for me are, kind of
Yes.
scary.
No giant magic bean. Got it.
No.
It's interesting too, though, because I mean, and this is again going back to like when
Oh
men talk
God.
shit to women,
Yeah.
especially at the Olympia or the Arnold, when it's like a really, really big show and it's like televised for all of us to watch. I always see the guys like, oh, she's so hideous. Or like, I would never smash her. I would never hook up, would never date her. It's like
She wouldn't
she got
ever
on
do
stage to
you
be a
either.
bodybuilder and be the top 20 bodybuilder in the world. She got the best top 5 bodybuilder in the world. Like, I don't think her thought process was like, I'm trying to be this sexy feminine bikini
No.
girl when that would be bikini. She's a open bodybuilder, like that she takes effort and dedication. So I don't know.
I
It's
mean,
just odd to me and I've called even men on this, like they try to sexualize everything a woman does. It's like, well, he's also up there in a thong. She's also up there in a thong. Like, why do you not judge him as hard as her? So that's really all I'd say about that.
that's very true. You're right. You're right. And
Okay.
like those ladies wouldn't even give them the time of the day because those ladies probably would only be with a partner that is as intensely dedicated that they are. So they don't even care about,
Do,
that
do,
guy,
do,
for
do you know
example.
what's weird though? Like genuinely, I've seen the opposite. Like I'm talking like polar, and for men too. So you would think that like let's
Really?
say he's buff, she's buff, they get together, right? Usually they end up
Mm-hmm.
actually butting heads. It actually ends up backfiring because
Oh,
like she'll be in
interesting.
her off season, he'll be in his contest prep, and like they keep flip flopping unless they prep together, and like they keep butting heads. Or I don't know how to word this, but it's almost like they have too much in common that like they have
Oh.
nothing else to like do because all they do is just sit there and hardcore bodybuild. Now, what I see be super successful, which to each their own, I don't think I could do it, but they'll go for very out of shape men or very out of shape women. And it's like she's the
Hmm.
buff bodybuilder, he's like the feminine stay-at-home dad type thing, or like they just have different personalities and like it works out really well. I definitely see it more with buff men dating out of shape women, I guess, just because they want that stay-at-home mom that's just she cooks, she cleans, she does everything they want. They let him be the hardcore bodybuilder, and then they're both happy. Versus you see
It
two
keeps
buff
the
bodybuilders together.
yeah.
I don't know. You don't see it so often. Isn't that weird?
It keeps the masculine, feminine energy where it belongs. Even though maybe the masculine energy is the bigger woman, stronger
Yep.
woman, and then the feminine energy where is the guy not lifting, not being,
Yeah.
this buff dude. You see what I mean? So maybe
Yeah.
that's why. Interesting.
Yeah. She's the one with the high testosterone. Now he's the one with the high
Yeah,
estrogen. So yeah,
there you
as long
go.
as people are happy, I guess.
If they're happy.
All right. So getting into, I want to talk a little bit about coaching specifically. So give me a quick breakdown. What is your main demographic as a coach, or maybe what are you looking to branch out to in the future? But maybe what do you do now, and what are you looking to do maybe in a couple of years from now, just in terms of your brand, your business, all that together.
So right now, obviously, I'm all online. I target women in their 30s to 40s. They are business minded, like career driven women. They have been through so many cycles of yo-yo dieting, yo-yo weight loss, and they just fed up and they just want to find a program that works with their busy schedule that get them to their goals without crash dieting, without intense workout schedules, and just get there in a healthy way.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Do you coach men at all, or just mostly women?
No, I don't coach men, but I'm not gonna say it. I was thinking about it, but no, I don't coach men. No. Mm-mm.
Does it interest you or doesn't interest you? Like I'm pretty open about it. I have no interest in coaching women for bodybuilding or like anything competing. I just don't want to. It just doesn't interest me. So are you like that, but for the male side?
So I used to coach mostly male clients when I was a
Really?
face-to-face. Yeah, when I was a
Okay.
face-to-face coach, I worked at Equinox. That's when I was getting ready for a competition. I had my
Mhm.
competition prep. That was right before COVID.
Mhm.
And because I was doing more bodybuilding style training, very heavy lifting, split muscle group, all of that, I would attract more male clients that wanted to build muscle. So I had mostly male clients, and I loved it. It was so much fun because you tell them what to do, they do it. They don't overthink. They follow the plan. Then with time, I really realized that I'm more passionate of helping women. I feel like I'm actually doing something good in this world. Like I'm changing women's life because they really need the help. Uh, but lately, I've been thinking, I love training women. The overthinking that they go through makes it so challenging for them to get to their dream body, because they always want to change the workout, always want to eat less, add more cardio. So there's constantly a mental battle going on with
Yeah.
women's coaching that you don't have with male clients. So I was kind of thinking maybe should I open my coaching again to male clients? I don't know. Maybe it's going to happen in some point. But right now I'm just doing women, just because I'm much more passionate about it.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty valid answer. And again, I'm the same way, just the opposite. But I would, and I didn't want to be too specific about it, but I have noticed, and this is even my girl clients I coach now, sometimes they are, the only word I could think of without sounding bad is like they're emotional. Sometimes that they just don't
Very.
think logically when I'm trying to give them the game plan. And like, they're like, well, my friend Becky, she's on Ozempic, she lost 30 pounds. Why can't
Oh
I lose
God.
30 pounds? And like, sometimes I just don't have those conversations with men. And like, that's not to say that I don't
Yeah.
have issues with men, because I definitely do. But sometimes like we just butt heads, and like, I try to be nice, but my job isn't to be nice to you. My job is to get you in shape. And I was like, man, like if I have these hiccups sometimes with just lifestyle, like I wonder what contest prep was like, where they're on steroids or they have no food, they lose their period. I don't think my
Yeah.
personality could match with that good. That's my justification. So I'm sure it would be the same thing for you in a certain extent, coaching men.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I think it would be much easier to coach a man. Like I said, they follow the plan, and honestly, they have much quicker results because, again, they just follow the plan, they trust the process, and they have the patience. Um, but then on women right now, what's happening a lot is I get a lot of calls from women that were on Ozempic for a few months.
Mhm.
They lost a ton of weight. They also lost mostly muscle.
Yep.
They feel like shit right now. And then because they stopped Ozempic because they lost weight too fast, they actually gained all the weight back because they haven't learned anything about how to eat healthy,
Damn.
train for their schedule, and now they are even at a worse spot that they were when they started Ozempic. And if a woman was able to put their emotions to the side, especially when it comes to fitness and nutrition, because you cannot get in your head, um, you could be completely transformed within just a 6 months period if you just follow the plan and not trying to find shortcuts or doing crazy things like that. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and just kind of touch on Ozempic before we move on. So this is all GLP-1. So whether it's Retta, Ozempic, Trizepatide, any of those, I've seen the same thing. And again, it's men and women, but they'll find out that this is the magic cure, right? And that is the next big thing to make them lose weight. And like, if you guys don't know how they work, they pretty much make you eat food. It digests very slow, then it comes out of you at a very slow pace, so you're full longer. So that's why you're not hungry. So unintentionally, or sometimes intentionally, they starve themselves. So when you have a shit ton of body fat, your body's going to be like, all right, cool. Well, I have no food. I'm going to use this body fat as energy, right? So they burn through it all. But what happens is your body doesn't differentiate between like, I have no food, I'm going to somehow protect your muscle, and I'm just going to burn fat. Like, no, everything getting burned. So by the end of it, they have all this loose skin. They have the flat butt, the flat arms, a small shoulder, whatever it may be. The look that they don't want, which is sometimes people will call it the Ozempic body. That's what you do not want. So pretty much what she's saying is like, they just don't eat, and then they look like crap, and then we're stuck trying to pick up the pieces. And
Yeah.
women are a little bit more sensitive than we are in terms of hormones. Like worst case happened to us, cool, maybe our testosterone goes down, we'll bounce back. When it comes to women, you guys might lose your period, you might have some crazy thyroid issues. Like there's a lot that could happen from starving yourself, is pretty much all my financing thing. Was there any follow-up to any of that?
No, I agree with you. And because us, it's so much harder to build muscle than to repair those damages, it would take so much longer than if they just went the normal route of like starting to work out normally and clean up their diet. They wouldn't ever be in that position where it's gonna take them a year to build that muscle mass that they lost during Ozempic time. You see what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just so sad. And that's happening a lot right now. I had 2 or 3 calls this week of women that went on Ozempic, lost a ton of weight, lost mostly muscle, and now they want to rebuild from scratch. And because they gained all the weight back, because they haven't learned to eat properly. They don't know how to track their macros. They don't know what kind of workout program is going to keep them, disciplined with their busy schedule. So it's at the end of the day, you always have to do what we don't want to do, which is eating healthy and working out more often. That is the only way to get fit. You can never like find an easy way out, and yeah, it's very common now.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's your diet, training, cardio, sleep. Yeah, you don't have those, Ozempic ain't going to do shit for you. So
No.
I wanted to take one step back just because you had mentioned it. So I know you said you don't coach many men online as an online coach, but when you were in person, did you ever? I don't know what the word's awkward. That's not the right word. I'm going to use awkward, but did you ever feel awkward or uncomfortable coaching men? Where it's like you had the power and like they're listening to you. Was there ever anything? Did they ever question you or treat you differently because you were a girl coaching them, if that makes sense.
It was so much fun, being able to tell dudes what to do and like torture them.
Okay.
It was the best job in the world. Is like do 100 pumps, like push-ups, whatever.
Safe to
And they
say
would
you
just
enjoyed
do
your
it.
job.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I liked it a lot. And no, never awkward, never weird. Like it never turned into anything. I never felt like anybody was flirting with me or trying anything. Like it was really just uh and I guess they enjoyed having a female coach instead of a male coach. And it was a lot of fun. No, I loved it. It was great. And yeah. But now online is kind of different. So I don't know if I want to do it again.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was good in
online
the
it's
moment.
a lot more. I don't know. I feel people said more out of pocket things to me being their online coach than they ever did in person, face to face, if that makes sense. People are a lot more
Interesting.
ballsy when it's like you aren't even in the same state or city, whatever it is.
Yeah, and then I don't want to have to deal with man DMs for coaching and then trying to
Mm, yeah.
change the conversation to something else. That's something I don't want to deal with. So I don't know, maybe if one day I have a team of coaches that work for me and I can have maybe a male coach train male clients for me, I'll be open to that.
Yeah. Okay. So leading to that, I want to ask your opinion on this. Just from I know how I feel about it, but I want to get like a female perspective. But how do you feel about male coaches that only coach women? I've talked to you about this before. How I always feel like there's just a motive there that I can't prove it's there, but I always feel some type of way about it. Do you ever feel weird, or anything at all, any feedback at all, when it's like a guy that like he only coaches women, he has zero female clients? Also, he's straight and not gay. Also, that's very big, important variable to that question, right? So,
I guess it depends on the man. Because yes, I've seen it, and I've experienced it. I trained sometime with Brett, and I've never felt anything weird from him. Or, I've seen some coaches online that were a little bit more, crazy, let's say,
yeah.
that didn't make me feel confident as a woman to train with them. So I guess it depends on the man and how he goes about his job. And if he's truly passionate and he knows the science, like Brett, for example, I love training with him. And I love the fact that he has this whole team of women like lifting so heavy and building the dream body because of him, compared to some other guys that I've seen on social where it's like, yeah, okay, this dude is obviously looking for something else.
I could see that. Yeah. No, I was just
Hmm.
curious. Just sometimes I see it because I only have one. He was gay, so it didn't matter. But I know one gay
Oh,
male coach. Like he coaches women really, really well, but he likes men. So like he's never going to hit on him. But I've heard of like male coaches like, oh, hey, by the way, you're $450 to do, or, you could pay me in something else.
oh
It's like,
God.
that's insane. Absolutely insane. But
Yeah.
okay. It doesn't sound like
Hey,
you've seen
don't
that.
hate the player, hate the game.
All I can remember, this is 2023 maybe. But she had just done with a breakup. We worked together for like 3 months, and everything was good. Like I never said anything out of pocket to her, and even if she did, like I'd shut it down because like I don't do that ever. And I remember her plan was done. She's like, "Oh, I want to buy one more month." I was like, "All right, cool. Like you owe me 425 or whatever it was, whatever I was charging at the time." And she's like, "Can I pay you on something else?" I was like, "Oh, like crypto?" Like she didn't specify, right? Like I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, like crypto?" Or like, do you have a business you want to trade me something? Like, what do you have? She's like, "Oh no, like me." It's like, I know. What do you want to trade me? She's like,
Me.
"Oh, you don't get
Oh
it."
God.
It's like, I don't. I was like, I'm even offended you would offer that to me. That's not worth $400 to me. Sorry, baby girl. My bad.
Wow.
But
She tried.
yeah, she did try. That's happened
She
maybe
did.
3 times. Three out of
Wow.
1,800 isn't too bad though. Those are some pretty good odds. That's
1,800 clients. That's
yeah.
amazing.
Had
Look
my
at you.
1,800 transformation a couple days ago. Yes, it's
I need
I've
to
worked
keep
12
track. I
hours
don't know
every
how
day
many
for 10
clients I
years.
have. God,
Right.
I need to step up my game and get like you. Like,
Yep.
oh,
I mean, I think I would probably coach some of your guy friends first. If you have a guy friend or, just someone that you're
yeah,
close with, and just test it because you might hate it. There are instances where I don't want to coach certain women because I know that like it's going to be difficult, not the mental, like just their genetics or their body parts. So I just say no. So, you kind of got to get a feel for like, if you do take men, what are the type of men you don't want to take on, things like that.
yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see. Like, it's a thought. Just because Again, women are a little bit more complicated, and lately it's been more and more complicated. And it could be the type of content that I'm posting. I realize I need to be a little bit more, I'm not going to say strict, but maybe a little bit more direct when I post, or like the way I speak, the topics that I use or choose. Um, I think they need to be a little bit more harsh truth instead of what I've been posting lately. And I think that's going to attract to me the client that just really want it instead of just is curious about it. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I try to. I mean, you've seen me talk probably 5,000 videos worth, but like I try to be pretty direct. Like I'll joke every once in a while, but when it's a serious topic, like I just make sure that it sounds like it's a serious topic because it is. So I would say 9 times out of 10, most clients I get, like they're good to go. Like they're like, I know what I signed up for. I know you're going to be hard on me. I know I'm going to have a shit ton of cardio or low food, whatever. They know that beforehand. So I think you almost have to portray that in your content. Like if you're, let's just say, I don't know your last cooking video you made, but let's just say you have like a bunch of just flexible dieting and intuitive eating videos you make. And then like you're going to get clients that are like, oh, she said intuitive eating works. I want to work for her for that. And you're like, I don't do that. That's not my coaching style. So I think you want to almost practice what you preach, or, preach about what it is you practice on your coaching business. This is something that might help you.
Yeah, my coaching style is definitely more intuitive eating. I like to show women that they can still eat, tacos, pasta, burgers, and normal food while still get in shape. Obviously, there are healthier versions of those things, but I'm definitely, I want to show that having a healthy relationship with food is possible while being fit and get fit. You see what I mean?
Absolutely. Okay, let's dive past that then. I did want to ask you, just because you've done both, and I've done both. What would you say the biggest difference is from online coaching to in person? Is there any? Obviously, it's very different. But is there one thing you notice where it's like, holy crap, this is different? Whether it's the time management, whether it's the interactions, or just any time-consuming aspect of it. Just what would you say is some of the differences you've noticed?
I mean, the types of service you get when you hire online coach to me makes more sense than when you hire a in-person trainer, because I used to be an in-person trainer and all I was offering was, face-to-face coaching for a pretty high price. It was like 80 to $90 an hour. That could come up to $1,000 at the end of the month. And
Yep.
most coaches, including myself, we were not offering accountability meal plans, anything like that. Most coaches that I work with never even took note of their clients' reps and weights and sets, anything like that. They would just put them through workouts, and every week the workout changed just because the client didn't want to get bored or the coach didn't want to get bored, and it was just not a good service, even though it costs so much more money. But now, since I've become an online coach, I realize it's much, much cheaper, and you get a more complete service. You even get, so obviously nutrition and accountability. You also get a plan that makes more sense with progressive overload. You get access to fitness communities with all the clients, challenges. Like I try to do so much stuff to create a community of women going through the same struggles. It makes so much more sense, in my opinion, to sign up with an online coach than a face-to-face coach.
Got you. Yeah, I want to follow up to that. I just got this random memory the other day. Like Facebook will remind you like something you did 5, 10 years ago, right? Or Snapchat something. So I got a memory. It was like probably the last week I was at my in-person job. I was like, man, that was such a different time. If for those who don't know, in person versus online, in person, if your client doesn't show up, you don't get paid in most instances. Versus online, it's like they miss your check and you still got paid probably. But I'd have to work from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. to get those 6 clients. And like, so I have the gap in the middle of like folks on bodybuilding and like competing. So I was working 6 to 7 hours a day, and like, you're there all day. You might as well live at the gym. You're there almost 6 to 12 hours a day, every single day, versus when you work online, you could be anywhere. I could be in Miami, could be in San Diego. I could be wherever I want to. So I like both, but I feel that I built better connections in person, if that makes sense. It's just different, So something about making a client puke in the trash can of leg day. It just builds some character, build a connection,
That almost happened to me once. She ran to the bathroom and I was like, okay,
Are you good?
too
Are you
much.
good?
It's like, oh no. But yeah, no, I see what
Okay.
you mean. I mean, you have that relationship with the client. You see them 2, 3 times a day, a week, but it's the waking up at 4 a.m. to drive to the gym for your 5 a.m. clients and
Yep.
honestly having to pack your entire day of food because you're going to
Yep.
be at the gym almost to the closing time. You do not have a life. You can very rarely leave town because when you do leave town, you lose clients.
Yep.
It's not flexible. And then honestly, most clients that I've had, they just wanted company at the gym. They didn't
Yes.
they had a goal, yes, to lose some weight, get stronger, but the number one reason why they hired coaches was just to not be alone at the gym because they didn't want to be alone. They just wanted to make sure they were safe using the equipment and they just wanted someone to talk to for an hour. And, the best transformations I've had were from my online coaching compared to my face-to-face coaching.
One thing people don't know, and I guess this applies to trainers too, but it's like, and this is a big mistake I made. I was a trainer first in college. So like it was a lot of men that wanted to become bodybuilders. So it's like, it was very cut and dry what my style was every day. I got my first job at Crunch, which I maybe had one bodybuilder and like 30 just normal moms and dads. And it took me a little bit of time to realize like, oh shit, like they're not bodybuilders. They don't want to do double drop sets. They don't want to do crazy heavy squats, leg press. Like my brain was just so wired to treat them the way that I train and treat them the way I train my young clients or my bodybuilding clients that when I have like a 50-year-old mom of like 5 kids, it's like she needed someone to rant to, someone to talk to, someone to talk shit about her husband to. My gym was at the mall. It was all in one. There was even a time a client would go there and she just wanted to get steps in. So I walked with her through the mall as her
Oh,
session, like was pretty much her therapist. And I was like,
so cute.
this doesn't make sense to me, but she's very happy and she keeps buying more coaching. So, you know,
You were your therapist, her walking buddy, and that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, but I,
right?
I hear you. When you train in the gym, you don't really have control on who you train. You kind of have to train whoever the manager sends you or
Yep.
whoever wants to train with you. And it's typically very different from the people you actually passionate of training, and it's a good starter, but it's not, definitely not what I wanted to do. So thank God for COVID because that helped me get online, and
Same.
start my online business.
Absolutely. What would you say to, I know it could be a little bit different from men versus women. I don't know a lot of guys that are, I guess you could almost say intimidated to coach women. I don't know if that's the right word, but like they just don't seem very intimidated. But I do know women that are intimidated to coach men. So whether it's in person or online, what would you say to a girl that wants to have a job like you, but maybe she's scared to coach men, even though women typically have amazing knowledge for training lower body? Anytime I want to hire a coach for at my gym, I would hire the girls. They would teach me how to do kickbacks, glute thrusts, squats, like in America. I mean, if they're double cheeked up, I'm going to clearly learn from the girl that's double cheeked up, right? Like, I'm not going to go learn from the guy. So I
True.
guess just any tips from your point of view to like maybe help a girl get out of her shell, if that makes sense, right?
I think I would start with maybe someone that, like you said, like, maybe your brother or maybe, someone, a man that you're comfortable with, a friend or whatever, just to get started on learning how to talk and design programs for a man, the type of nutrition they need to be on, like the calories and all that stuff. And then eventually start getting, strangers, client, and just build from there. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the same logic applies to men too. Like it's the same thing. It's just, and like I said, it's just, I've known guys that like, they're scared to death to talk to women to coach them because they don't want the girl to think they're hitting on them, which that was an issue I
Mhm.
had too. We were supposed to like at Crunch, we were supposed to
Yes.
go up to about 5 to 10 people per day to start a
Oh
conversation.
God.
And like, when I'm
I
like eight
remember
weeks
those
out of the
days.
show, all jacked and shredded, it's like, it's not a very good, like, hey, miss, you want to get a workout in? It's like, it clearly doesn't come off the way I wanted it to? So
Yeah,
sometimes
I
we got to
had to
shoot
do
your
that at
shot though.
Equinox too. Mm-mm.
Right.
They had us floor on the floor trying to find clients, and we had to talk to people, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. So we had to do that. And the only thing that I hated with a passion was, besides starting conversation, if we saw someone doing really shitty form, we had to like interrupt their
Oh
workout and
God,
try to help them. And I was like, do you
you
know
just
how
reminded me
ego
something.
driven the average person is when they're on 3 scoops of pre-workout? Like they're in their own bubble. The last thing they want to do is have a guy or girl like tap them on the shoulder and be like, hey bro, your lat pull downs are shit. Like do it like this. It was so miserable. I got cussed out at least like once a month.
The only time, the only, and will probably ever be the only time I did that. I went to this dude, again, I was doing bodybuilding style training. I was doing a lot of bench press, so I learned how to do a proper bench press.
Yep.
This guy had like 2, 3 plates on each side, the worst bench press you can think of. And I was like, okay, if I go to a girl, maybe because I'm a girl, she's gonna think I'm being mean. Let me go to this guy and try to help him on his bench press. Oh my God, the way he
How'd that
looked
go
at
for
me
you?
like, who the hell do you think you are? I've been training for longer than you. Yeah, but your form is shitty.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
can
like,
I can I can
never
speak for the way
again.
most men's work, men's mind works. Most people, even women too, like people just don't do well with constructive criticism. I love when people criticize me if it's something valid. I mean, if you're just like talking shit that's not valid, they're like, I don't care. But if it's something I'm doing wrong that could potentially ruin my bodybuilding career, like I want someone to help me, you know?
Yeah, and I think I came out, you know me, I'm very nice. I think I came out really nicely. Like, hey, would you be open to get some feedback on your bench press technique? It's like, no, leave me alone. It's like, ooh,
No,
never
that's
again.
that's not how it went down. You're probably like, yo, your form is shit, bro. You need to fix this ASAP. You're
That's
gonna
what I
snap your chest.
thought, but I
Should have.
did it did not come out of my mouth. I was really nice.
All right,
Never again.
finishing up. We're almost done, by the way. I won't take too much more of your time.
That's fine.
What is one piece of information or one piece of advice you would give to your younger self? It could be fitness, business, and anything at all. Any just one tip of info you can give
Oh
yourself.
God, there's so many. Be all in on social since the day it freaking stopped. Like,
Hmm.
I remember being one of the, I'm not going to say one of the first on Instagram, but Instagram was really like a brand new app. Brand new, brand new.
Do you know what
And
year
if,
that was?
oh God, let me look. Wait, first time,
2012?
yeah, came out.
11, 10. I know it was like 2010 something or 2011, I think.
2010, October. Yeah. So I downloaded the app where it was almost brand new. And if I could have went back to my younger self and said, post as much educational fitness stuff you can,
Yep.
I would have been like a freaking millionaire right now. Same with TikTok. I remember
Yep.
downloading TikTok during COVID when it just went from Musically to
Yeah.
TikTok, and I just posted memes and funny stuff, which got
Yeah.
me a lot of followers, but not followers that helps me build a business. So I wish I like took it seriously. So I'm never making that mistake again now.
Yeah. Anytime something new pops up, we got to get on there.
Oh my God, I'm on Lemonade
I
right
lucked
now.
out, thankfully, TikTok wise. I was one of the first 10 creators on TikTok for fitness. I
Oh
was the
my
only
God.
coach. It was easy. Quick win.
Oh God, I'm on Lemonade now, and I got already 30,000 followers in just a few months. You should
Oh,
be on
nice.
Lemonade.
I gotta double post. I'm trying to get the YouTube popping. That's been my main goals.
Yeah,
Like, not
it's
even the
been always.
monetization part. It's just if you make it on YouTube, it's like you're the shit. Like that's the place you want to grow. It's just
That's the real
so hard to
platform
grow
there.
compared to Instagram or TikTok or something.
Yeah. But what you do is so like, I mean, I don't see a lot of coaches for bodybuilders. So what you do, I mean, I'm sure you do see that a lot in your, no?
On YouTube?
Like in general platforms, in all platforms.
Yeah. Well, the issue now is like someone who's buff automatically gets the title of coach. So, like the
Oh,
guy that was bench pressing the 3 plates, like maybe he had a good physique, but like he has terrible knowledge. That's the average fitness industry in a nutshell, from my point of view, right? There's a lot
no,
of
it's
buff
true.
guys that they just don't have that. I guess you could just say everything came to them very easy, right? It's kind of like when a girl's born with like just a big butt, like they built that genetic trait that a lot of girls would kill for. They just were born with it. The same way that some guys could just build these big arms, chest, whatever naturally. And then they try to give advice like, oh, go do like 700 sets of tricep extensions to work for me. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. The same way sometimes
Yeah.
I'll see girls like post insane like booty building workouts. I'm like, okay, you don't need to hop on one leg on the Stairmaster when like you were just born with it, which there's nothing wrong with,
Yes,
but don't give
I
bad
know.
advice.
I see that a lot. It's really sad.
What do you think about those one bands? So not the not knee sleeves. It's like those bands they put on their upper hamstring and quad, and like it's right under the butt cheeks, and it's like I'm isolating my
And
body. What do you think about that
and
trend?
it
You know what I'm
holds the
talking about?
blood. the blood
Yes.
flow,
The blood.
it
Yeah.
looks so dangerous because I've seen actually photos of women creating blood clot or something
Oh yeah.
because of those, and it's like, I always say the best physiques come from bodybuilders, right? Bodybuilders have done the same thing for 40, 50 years, the same type of exercise, the same type of machine, the same type of diet. Those are the real fitness transformations. When you look at now, fitness became so such a high in marketing that now all these companies are trying to sell the new trendy thing that doesn't work. Like,
Yep.
it's been proven over and over and over again how to get the abs and the back and the legs. It's basic movement, basic workouts, basic diets, but everybody's trying to get the trendy thing, and it actually, again, makes it so much worse.
So I want to follow up to that, and this will be one of the last questions I ask you. So, and I don't think we've ever talked about this before. I don't think I've ever seen you post about it, but what is your thoughts on like the science-based lifting community and like all the new trends? Like I know obviously being a coach, like you don't just give a client something that doesn't have science behind it. Like you're not going to make it up, but what do you feel about when they just take it to the extreme? Like they're putting their arm through foam rollers. They're like having these random handles going in 20 different directions. Like I don't know if
Oh,
you see these as much as I see them on my page,
I don't
but
think so.
yeah, I guess
Like,
do you feel like people are trying to reinvent the
yeah,
wheel when like
of
the wheel
course.
works perfectly fine, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yes. It's been proven over and over again what we need to do. Honestly, the simpler program, nutrition and workout, works the best.
Yep.
And all you have to do is just be patient, because yes, it's boring to have to do the same routine for 4 to 6 weeks, potentially even longer. But that's what that's how the body works.
Yep.
Sadly, because we get instant gratification with everything. I could like tap on my phone right now and get pizza delivered in front of my house. You see what I mean? But
Yep.
people think they can get instant gratification on a fat loss of a muscle building. Sadly, that's not how it works. And yeah, it's a long topic, but I
It's a good rant. Good rant.
easily rant. Going back to the Ozempic, yes, you're gonna lose a lot of weight, but believe me, it's gonna backfire on you. I've seen it over and over, and it's happening now, and it's sad.
Yeah, that was pretty much all the questions I had. I did want to leave it up to you really quick. Is there anything you have to ask me? Anything you want to go over? Any question you have for me personally? Anything you want to finish up on? Anything at all?
How's business? How's
Booming.
life?
Great. Now we're chilling. So like obviously coaching wise, it's been the same for the past 10 years. It really hasn't gotten better or worse. I can't take any more people. So I don't think it's ever going to get better, if that makes sense.
How many clients do you
Um,
have now?
Say it again.
How many clients do you have right now?
Typically anywhere between 40 to 60 is where I cap it off. It's not that I can't take more. I want to have the weekends off. So I have 2 people competing tomorrow. So like, I don't even have the weekend off. So at some point it's like, it's not even about the money anymore. It's like, I'd rather have 10 to 15 less clients and maybe I can enjoy my Friday and Saturday,
Mm.
couple times, that's my logic.
Have you thought about hiring like people to help you? Like this, you have a little bit less, you can bring more clients in and you have less, thing to
Yes.
deal with.
Yes, I've thought about it. Now here's my fear, I guess you could say. So I've known other coaches, men and women, and they do that, and their assistant coaches either they don't love the brand as much as you. No matter what, no one's ever going
Of
to love
course.
your brand, your company as much as you. It's impossible. But I've seen they'll hire assistant guy coach, and like that guy will try to sleep with the girl clients. Your business is ruined.
Oh God.
That does happen. Or something that's more common would be like they don't do the check-ins, like they don't get the plan on time. But the quality kind of goes down because it's not their company. They're getting paid. They're like,
Yes.
oh, okay, I don't have to make it as good as standards of me. So I guess that's just my fear. I've seen it happen with coaches I know, and they hire other coaches, and it kind of just goes down here. So that's a fear of mine. I don't want to have like I've never really had too many bad experiences. I don't want to start now. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. I've seen that too. A girlfriend of mine signed into a big coach's program, and she says she barely hears from her. They never change her calories and macros. The workouts are almost the same every month. Like it's just, and she paid like $3,000 for that program, and I'm like,
Damn.
what? And yeah, it's not, and she has a huge team of people, and I guess like you say, they just don't do their job, basically.
It's crazy though. I try to look at it for me because, like, I mean, I didn't grow up with much money. So like when I finally got my first $1,500 together, which I grinded for to get that $1,500, I paid my coach, and like I just if he would have let me, I would have blew his house up, bro. I would have been so angry. I lucked out. He was amazing, great communication. So when people told me like, oh yeah, my coach responds to me every 5 days or something, or every 7 days he'll text you back, I'm like, oh my God, how did they like live with themselves knowing they took a $3,000 payment and then you treat someone like shit? You know, like it's crazy.
That happens so much too. That's why it's also good to consider maybe, someone that doesn't have 1 million+ followers on Instagram, because they're very likely not even the one coaching you. They are the face of the business.
Yep.
Yes, but you are going to be dealing with somebody else that, like you said, is not as passionate on their, on the business.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So that's how that's going. Nothing else too new. I think if you didn't already see it, my peptide company should be dropping in the next week, 2 weeks, sometime this month. Oh, shout out to the peptide book. You got the plug.
I gotta learn more about peptides.
Everything that's on my website's in that book, but just for general like education, you'll like it. There's things from beauty to health to immune system to fat loss to muscle building. Like it's everything. I made it as cheap as I could because I wanted people to be like, before I buy Kodi's product from his website, what can I do?
So like educate myself. I love that. That's so exciting. So you're gonna sell peptides online then?
Yeah, pretty much. My store is called Biomyst Labs. It's supposed to be done already, but a couple issues popped up with labeling, but very, very soon. So I'm going to be looking for athletes, ambassadors. So that interests you, maybe we could talk about it.
Hey, I'm down. Peptides is fine, right? It's not steroids, so we good.
Yeah, no, it's not steroids. I don't sell SARMs. I don't sell anything that I personally don't use or my family use or my clients use. I don't want to sell it. So it's going to be very specific items. Yep, 100%.
So if it gets me like, a little bit bigger muscles, maybe it gets me a little bit more abs, I'm happy. I'll feel better overall.
Gotcha. Makes you more double cheeked up. I got you.
We've been losing a little bit. I haven't been lifting as much. Here I am behind my desk all day long.
You got to pay the bill somehow though.
Yeah, yes, it's happening. Takes a while,
So finishing up, first off, where can people find you on social media? How do they reach out to you for coaching? Anything you want to shout out, or any just final things for you, your brand, you personally, anything at all?
Train with Julie on Instagram, TikTok, and Lemonade. They can, if you want to join the program, meant for, busy women, 30s to 40 years old, that is tired of the yo-yo dieting, yo-yo weight loss, and want to learn, how to have a healthy relationship with food and find a workout program that you actually enjoy. You can just click on the bio. I have a little type form that you can fill out for my coaching. And I like to limit myself to a certain number of clients every month. Like this, I give the best service. So if you're very interested, do that as soon as possible.
There we go. So make sure to follow her. Make sure to follow me. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know who you guys want to see next. I try to have an episode every week from bodybuilders, influencers, and anything in between. So again, Team Dial to the moon.
Bye.